So in our class, I've introduced what I think of as one of the key elements in the whole altar of creation journey. I mean, most systems that are out there are based upon a specific therapeutic model of stuff we do. Part of what makes the altar of creation journey kind of special, the altar part in the name altar of creation refers to the fact that we do work on ourselves before we are fit, prepared, calibrated, and attuned to put our hands on another being's body and to listen deeply without imposing our conceptual rigidity upon them, without imposing our egos upon them. So I'm just going to review the getting out of the way procedure. I'm not going to do it per se. So in the class I introduced, first it's important to be comfortable. Feet flat on the ground, sitting up on your sits bones, kind of perch with your weight in front of or directly over your sits bones. Then I used, following the circular flow of breath, the cycle of inhale and exhale. Then I moved to heartbeat. All of these are intended to distract the conscious mind, kind of like we were engaging in a meditative process, which in fact we are. And then I am having you focus your breath right at the tip of your nostrils. So you feel the exhale move past and the inhale move past. And all of that is just happening just to kind of distract your conscious mind, allow you to begin to move into a meditative state. And then I'm having you take a ball of consciousness about the size of a ping pong ball or an apricot or so, and float it down to the middle of your sacrum, the area right behind your second chakra or your lower dantian. Depending upon your accuracy, middle of your sacrum is fine. The seam, if you will, between the second sacral segment and the third sacral segment is even better if you can pull that off. If you can't, don't waste any energy on it. There's a lot of grace that's extended to us. The only time we choke ourselves off from that was to get our minds too active, worrying about whether we're doing it right or not. Do it as best you can. And then with a little inhale, we float that little ball of consciousness out behind us, about 18 inches back from the sacrum, in space. And the important term here is freely suspended, automatically shifting. Means that it's just freely floating. And we form that ball of consciousness into a hook. Now some people have problems with hooks, so you can use a basket, you can use Velcro. Your hook can be loose side, it can be metal, it can be wood. It's incredible over the years how people's attachments to the material can either take them out or bring them in. So don't allow the fact that, I don't like wood, I want metal. Well, form a metal hook. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable. So then you have a hook or a receptacle or Velcro, even if that works for you. Floating, freely suspended, and automatically shifting out behind the middle of your sacrum, or the S2-3 seam, right from the middle of midline as it passes through there. And then you're going to, as if this shirt were wet and kind of stuck to me, I'd be taking off this shirt, I'd be pulling it off, going through my tissues, through my cells, through my molecules, maybe through and past my atoms, pulling this shirt, cloak, wetsuit, whatever it is, out and consciously putting it behind me onto that hook, so that this thing that we've hung back there and the hook are both freely suspended and automatically shifting. We're doing one hook in the beginning, behind the second sacral segment, behind the second chakra, freely suspended and automatically shifting 18 inches out behind the second sacral segment, or second and third sacral segment seam. And the force and consciousness of pulling that out of your body and placing it behind you has kind of a magical effect on our ability to listen deeply, on our ability to be open, on our ability to allow our minds to quiet, in our ability to balance the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, and even move the balance, tip it slightly into the side of the parasympathetic. And then this almost magical wave of a kind of chi that's a clear light wave passes through us and becomes available to this conjoint field that supports the healing. After you feel, and this is the only work that you do during the session. Do this before the session, while you're engaging the handhold. If you start to feel like you're shifted, your attention goes off, I want you to go back and check your hooks. If you get interested, or you get lost, or you feel like you don't know what's going on, first thing you do is check yourself. Check your own integrity. Go back and check the hook again. After you've done this for a while, so that it requires very little struggle and relatively little effort to do the one hook, you know, for me, I didn't have anybody teaching and guiding me other than the body. It was probably 5 years. And then I allowed myself to engage a second hook at around T5, T6, behind the heart chakra, the middle dantian. And then ultimately, when you're comfortable with juggling two balls, essentially, with two hooks, the same process, then there's a third hook that you will eventually discover behind the upper dantian, behind the third ventricle, out behind the pineal gland, out in space again, another 18 inches, so that you can engage three hooks. I would not begin with this idea that you're going to do three hooks at once. Your nervous system may have enough to do to work with the first hook. But again, I'm laying this out here as kind of a roadmap to your journey, but journey at a level of comfort. And you'll find it, this, and like I say in the class, this is not the definitive getting out of the way, but working these three hooks and staying on them becomes this essential foundation for the rest of the journey, which will either unfold with me or will unfold on your own as you embark on this journey of discovery. But this is the quintessential piece. Now, a lot of people have their own way of doing things, have their own way of, they say, listening in an era of stillness. My invitation is I implore you not to believe anything I say. That's what I say in all my classes. But do me the honor, since you're here to study with me, to train with me, take what I offer as I offer it. Don't make any modifications. Don't decide, please, that what you do is better until you've actually taken my work home, checked it out for yourself, put a bunch of miles on it, and then consider making it work for you. It's just essential. If we're really going to journey together and work together, do me the honor of working with what I offer in exactly the same way I offer it. Don't modify it, don't tweak it, don't adapt it until you've really put enough miles on that you can say you've earned the right to do that. Right. Good. Thank you.